Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the second unit in history, which is from trade to territory. In the last class, we have already discussed about Anglo-Maratha wars. Under this, we have seen the first Anglo-Maratha war, the internal affairs of the Marathas, then the second Anglo-Maratha war, and the third Anglo-Maratha War. Synopsis of the lesson. In this session, we are going to see the following topics. The first one is the British administrative organization in India. The British Indian administration was run by four principal institutions like civil services, army, police and judicial system. In today's class, we are going to see civil services in detail. First, we are going to see the British administrative organization in India. So, how the British administer India? The British Indian administration was under four services. The first one is civil services, the second one is army services, the third one is police services, and finally the judicial system. So students, the British Indian administration was under four services like civil services, army services, police services and judicial system. First, we are going to learn about civil services. The term civil service was used for the first time by the East India Company. So the term civil service was first used by the East India Company. Why they used the term means to distinguish between the civil employees as well as the military employees, that is military counterparts, then translating law into action and collecting revenue were the main jobs of the civil service. So students, the main jobs for the civil service was translating law into action and collecting revenue, that is collecting the tax. The civil service was initially commercial in nature, but later it was transformed into a public service. Here commercial means trading. So the civil service was initially means firstly commercial in nature, but later it was transformed into a public service. In the beginning, the appointment to these services was the sole prerogative of the court of directors of the company. Here, prerogative means right, but the nominated civil servants indulged in corruption, bribery and illegal private trade. So, in the starting stage, the appointments for these civil servants were fully dependent on the British East India Company, but the nominated civil servants, that is the nominated civil servants by the British East India Company, was indulged in corruption, bribery and illegal private trade. For that reason, what happened? Lord Cornwallis, who came to India as Governor General in 1786, enforced the rules against private trade. So, Lord Cornwallis, he came to India as Governor General in 1786, he enforced some rules against private trade. Lord Cornwallis also raised the salary of the company's servants, who became the highest paid civil servants in the world. So, he also raised the salary for the civil servants. Lord Wellesley, who came to India as Governor General in 1798, introduced the idea of suitable training for the civil servants in India. So then, Lord Wellesley, he came as Governor General to India in the year 1798. He introduced the idea of suitable training for the civil servants in India. Then, for that, in 1800, he established the college in Fort William at Calcutta to provide training in literature, science and languages. So, to train the civil servants, Lord Wellesley in 1800, he established the college in Fort William at Calcutta to provide training in literature, science and languages to the civil servants. However, the directors of the company disapproved of his action and replaced it by their own East India College, established at Haileybury in England in 1806. So students, the board directors, that is the company directors, they disapproved Lord Wellesley College at Fort William and they replaced it to Haileybury in England in the year 1806. The idea of competition for recruitment was introduced first by the Charter Act 1833. So students, after training, it is the selection process, that is the recruitment process. So such idea of competition for recruitment was introduced first by the Charter Act in 1833. Then the system of recruitment on the basis of open competitive examination was introduced in 1853. So, the system of open competitive examination was introduced in 1853 for the civil servants. Then, this system was confirmed by the Government of India Act of 1858. The maximum age for competitors was fixed at 23. So, the maximum age to attend this competitive examination was 23. Subsequently, East India College at Haileybury was abolished in 1858 and recruitment to civil services became the responsibility of the Civil Service Commission. Here, subsequently means later or then. So then, what happened means East India College at Haileybury was abolished in 1858 and recruitment to civil services became the responsibility of the Civil Service Commission. Then, by the regulation of 1860, the maximum age was lowered to 22, in 1866 to 21, and in 1876 to 19. So, the maximum age to attend the competitive examination was lowered to 22. Before it was 23. So, in 1866 it was again lowered to 21, and in 1876 it was lowered to 19. So students, the maximum age to attend the civil service competitive examination was in 1860 it was 22. In 1866 it was 21. In 1876 the age was 19. By the Indian Civil Service Act of 1861 passed by the British Parliament, exclusively reserved certain categories of high executive and judicial post for the covenanted civil service, which was later designated as the Indian Civil Service. So, by the Indian Civil Service Act of 1861, the British, they reserved certain categories for the executive post and judicial post, and later it was designated as the Indian Civil Service exam. Due to the lowering of age limit and holding of examination in London, it could be possible only for a very few wealthy Indians to appear at the ICS examination, that is Indian Civil Service examination. So students, due to the lowering of age limit as well as the examination was conducted at London, so it could be possible only a very few wealthy Indians to appear at the ICS examination, that is Indian Civil Service examination. Then in 1869, 3 Indians, namely Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt and Bihari Lal Gupta. So, these 3 Indians, namely Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt and Bihari Lal Gupta, they became successful in the ICS exam, that is, they passed the Indian Civil Service examination. So students, do you know Satyendranath Tagore? He was the elder brother of poet Rabindranath Tagore. He was the first Indian to pass the ICS examination in 1863. Here, ICS refers to Indian Civil Service examination. So, Satyendranath Tagore was the first Indian to pass the ICS examination, that is Indian Civil Service examination, in the year 1863. Later on, the Indians demanded to increase the age limit and to establish Center for Examination in India instead of England. So, later on, the Indians, they demanded to increase the age limit to appear for the exam as well as to change the center to India instead of England. In 1892, the minimum age limit for appearing for the civil service examination was raised to 21 and the maximum to 23. So, In 1892, the minimum age limit to appear for the civil service examination was raised to 21 and the maximum to 23. Then, in 1912, a royal commission on public service was appointed. So, in 1912, a royal commission on public service was appointed and it was chaired by Lord Islington. So, it was chaired by Lord Islington. Then, Royal Commission had 2 Indian members. So, other than the chairman, it also had 2 Indian members like G.K. Gokhale and Sir Abdur Rahim, besides 4 Englishmen. So, besides they were 4 Englishmen. So, why this commission was established? The commission published its report in 1917. Islington Commission's recommendations, that is the Indian recommendations, that is to increase the age limit and also to change the center to India. So, Islington Commission's recommendations partly fulfilled the demand for the Indianization of civil service. So students, in the next class, we will learn more about civil services. I have enclosed the classwork instructions in the PDF. Kindly refer it. So now, we have reached the end of this session. Thank you.